The UDU, a planned development united, installed their neighborhood nodes throughout the entirety of a land. Their reach was unmatched.
All right, welcome everybody to team meeting 16. My name's Ben68, and it's probably another very short meeting today as we got a whole bunch of stuff to, well, I've got a whole bunch of stuff to get sorted out in the real world. We've got a few of our regulars here. Thank you for that. First thing that I want to touch on is well done everybody on the round one staking training. It's just about to wrap up, so that looks like we would have finished. Looks like would have been 17 properties in a bit over 20 days, I believe, which was ahead of schedule. So that's good. And More Cheese was hard at work. She got the round two train set up and running as well. And that's the same 17 properties, which I was having a look at the numbers before. It's probably going to take about the same time, maybe a bit longer, because we've had a few people that were volunteering on the first train that have slipped off for the second one. We'll see. But then it has been good to see too. We've had a whole bunch of people who missed out on getting a ticket for the second train. They've just nominated to volunteer their spark, that's really helpful. There were a few people who were a bit upset that they missed out on that round two train. Please understand that, you know, we can't have 30 properties on the train like we did with the original version. It just doesn't work if it's going to take too long. So it's just a case of be active, be involved, and try to jump on it when we can. There will be many other opportunities to build within specific nodes for the UDU, or more of these build wherever you want situations. And, you know, we'll get better with feedback and whatnot as well. So if there's anything in particular you'd like to say about that process, yeah, please send myself or More Cheese or somebody a DM. It's all about that open communication that can solve most problems if we, you know, just have a chat. There's still some questions being asked about how to build list. If you don't know where to put your Spark, just go to the build list channel and have a look through from the last post, look up, and you should see that there's a new round two list, and there's an emoji key there. Just follow the emoji key. Please just start at the top and work your way down. Some people have gone to put Spark on, see that it's being adjusted, and then just bung it somewhere else. Yeah, that's kind of helpful, but it really does help if we can stay on track and just bang those out in order. It just just helps keep everything going as smoothly as possible. That's about it for the Spark train stuff. As I said, we're just up and running, and away we go. We've got this round to go, another round to go, and it's looking likely that for round 4, that will probably be a UDU specific one. But again, we'll see how that pans out. Another hack. I didn't really get to go in depth with what happened there. Is anybody able to chime in on that or know what the details were? It seemed like it was some kind of something to do with passwords and also the two-factor authentication.
Well, in my opinion, it kind of looked like an organized attack on Icon. It was very weird to see that only 3 high-profile Icon members had the issue, while the rest of the community hadn't had an issue. So yeah, my take on it is, of course, that it's very bad that it happens, and that they need to step up security ASAP, because yeah, this is not looking good for the community as a whole.
A target attack. Geez, that's
well, it could be. I mean, or maybe someone in their Discord had access to their mails or something, because you need 2 things, of course, and that's mail as well as password. So yeah, it's a bit mind-baffling to me what happened exactly. I'm not technical as well, so
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out what happened.
Do you know what all the chat was about the two-factor authentication? I mean, if it's a password, fair enough. Like if their email was hacked or their password was leaked or something, I get that. But there seemed to be a lot of blow up about the two-factor authentication.
Well, that's basically the fact that two-factor authentication is not enabled when you log in. So when you are in my account and you are in my account, you can basically do whatever, and you don't get logged out immediately when I log in and change my password. So that was a sort of thing what V Champion was on about.
Well, I thought every transaction we're getting smashed with. Oh, that's the capture thing, though. That's not the two-factor authentication. Yeah. Okay, so if you want to do treasure hunts, you got to do two-factor authentication. But if somebody hacks your account, they don't have to.
Apparently.
Wow.
Yeah,
I also thought that they mentioned that when you just copy paste your two-factor code, that there was also not a smart thing, and they also heard something about a atomic hub link, right? So were those actions the same, or were there two different actions?
So that's that middleman attack or whatever they're talking about, where they're intercepting it off your clipboard or something. Yeah, that's a bit of a worry. I wonder, do you know, was this all on the web-based stuff that those user has, or was this a mobile situation?
I think it was web-based because one of the players who got targeted also was targeted for a withdrawal to PayPal, and you have to be on a web-based, of course, to make a withdrawal. So
yeah, I think the other thing that was of concern was that it was like I don't know what I was doing at the time, but I caught the blow up in the community. Like everybody's like, "Hey, there's somebody being hacked," and they were tagging the team, screaming out to the team. But being that it was the weekend and apparently nobody is in the Upland office on the weekend, it just continued on for way longer than it probably could have or should have.
yeah, and that's also why I think it's someone from the community, because they know the pattern that the team takes. They know that in the weekends there's nobody there, basically. Maybe someone working in the back and seeing something like 5 hours late, but other than that, no one's in. So yeah, I think and I hope that the team learns some valuable lesson from this, because you can't do this. You can't have a 24-hour game and not have anyone responding for over 5 hours to such a huge issue.
Yeah, it seemed like if somebody had been available, that would have been shut down before much of the damage had been done. I saw that there was like a 2 million transaction or something like that, but once you just see one property after the other being taken out of the account, that's disappointing and concerning for sure. All right, well, we did get some other news that I just saw. We have the Chicago collections being revealed. Anybody excited about that, or anything on your radar for that? There's been a lot of speculation around. Yeah. I've pretty much picked up 4 properties in every neighborhood, I think, except for a couple of the ones that were really small and already collections or whatnot. So I'm hoping to jag a few, but I'm not overly concerned really. I could probably skip to it now. Personally, I'm in sell mode. I'm totally rebalancing my portfolio. I've probably sold, I don't know, well over 100 properties in the last week, and I'm probably looking to sell another 2,500. Basically, just getting rid of all of the stuff that I don't plan on doing anything with. Like I have all these properties just sitting there. Just had a bit of a think and a reflect that if I'm not going to do anything with it, and there's currently a whole bunch of profit there to be had, I might as well take it and reinvest in somewhere and some things that I do want to play with. So yeah, I'm selling up a whole bunch of stuff everywhere and doubling down in areas where I do want to build or where I do have plans. And I'm also trying to claw back my 5 million UPEX business budget. There has been a little bit of talk behind the scenes that the ball is rolling with that and it hasn't been lost. So I don't want to get caught with my pants down and they say, okay, businesses are a go. And then I have to kind of scramble to get the 5 million. So I'm just trying to get that sorted as well. But with all of the Chicago collections being revealed, and what do we have? Santa Clara is going to be revealed as well. And we've just seen that that's going to be released with collections. So I'm going to do everything I can not to blow the liquidity I've built up over the last week. I don't hold out much hope for myself because I'm a real sucker, especially if there's a couple of red collections there, but we'll see how we go. Anybody else looking to get anything in Santa Clara or Chicago or Cleveland as well? There's something happened there. What's going on there?
Well, for Santa Clara, I will always go for one red collection at least. I'm a sucker for the rare ones. So I need to mint one or buy seriously, but I don't want to do that. So I have to mint one. So I have to be on my A game this Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. And for Chicago, I'm eager to see and to find out if the Logan Square Boulevard system is going to be a collection, because that's basically my only bet I've got left in Chicago. And Cleveland, I don't know. I really don't know. I didn't do my research. I didn't do anything. I just went there, minted some props, and that was about it. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I pretty much just sold everything in Cleveland except for I've got my 3 in downtown as my collection speculators, and then I've got a couple of, I think I've got 3 or 4 big properties just for the generic collection. But yeah, I minted a whole bunch in Cleveland at 2,000, and the floor on the resale was 3,500. So I flipped all of those basically. So yeah, same with Bakersfield. I've sold out of everything in Bakersfield except the collections. Oakland, I've sold out of everything except the collections and the Dimmons, which I don't know what's going in the Dimmons. There appears to be a whole bunch of properties on the market and people left and right wanting to sell out of their portfolios there. So I've just been picking up 1 or 2 properties with my dividends. I'm definitely going to be building there at some stage. So yeah, I kind of have too many there to bail out of. So I'm just rebuilding that one. Chicago, yeah, I'm not really going to chase anything in Chicago with the collection reveals, unless, like you say, if there's a red collection or maybe an orange one that's good to go and there's an opportunity, because I always prefer to, even though it costs you more UPEX, I always prefer to buy a collection when it's at its full price, like what was it, Soho and things like that. I initially bought into Soho and the prices were really cheap, but once the collections were revealed and the mint prices get adjusted for all the unmintable ones and the dividends get adjusted, yeah, that's what I'm far more interested in. I actually have gone through and I flipped a bunch of Brooklyn collections where I thought, oh, I'll hang on to those because it's a collection property. But if you have a look at it, the dividends are like 102 UPEX a month, which, you know, I'll go and mint 2 other properties in Chicago and I get the same amount of UPEX. So yeah, that's for that. So yeah, Santa Clara is very small, only 7 districts. And are those official districts, or is that Uplands just made those up?
I think they just made it up a bit, but there's this, yeah, these are just the huge distinctions. They could have made smaller, once, but they choose not to. I think they learn from what was it? The lines were that horrible.
Oakland, yeah, that was a nightmare.
Yeah. I think they learned from that, and that they have to keep it a bit simpler. Although I prefer more smaller districts, of course, because that's more interesting, especially from a node perspective. But I think they went safe on this one, and they were like, let's just make 7 districts. So I don't expect maybe one neighborhood collection, but the rest will be streets, I guess, because
it might be a case of like Manhattan, where we've got all those unique ones, all those strange ones that nobody had any clue about.
Could be the case. Could definitely be the case.
Yeah. As we said, if Santa Clara, I'm only going to go for collection properties, or if there's nothing decent available, I'm just going to get 3 of the biggest ones I can for whatever the generic Santa Clara collection is. I'm really going to try to avoid just that scramble to buy anything because it's available.
Yes. Yeah, it will be interesting what the base prices are going to be, because right now in general chat there is a bit of discussion, bit of banter that it is between a tier 1 and a tier 2 city, so it's a tier 1.5. So I don't know what to expect from a base price perspective, how cheap or expensive everything is going to be.
And we just talked about too before we got started that it's only 25% FSA, which is good, and it seems like they're releasing the whole thing in one go. Is that right?
Let me check.
I wasn't 100% sure on that myself.
Apparently, there's nothing being said about how much will be released, so I just read it as the whole of Santa Clara.
Cool. Yeah, in that case, especially with the collections being revealed ahead of time, that's going to be a bit of a mad scramble.
For sure.
Yeah, the timing of it's a nightmare for me, so I'm going to wake up in a daze and try and mad scramble something. But yeah, really not looking to buy anything that doesn't need to be bought, which I'm hoping I can stick to. We'll see how we go. So that's the other big news. You guys are all mostly web-based, haven't you? When you play Upland.
Sorry, I didn't follow.
Are you web-based, Novex, when you play Upland?
Mostly, yeah. During releases, especially, yes. One tip.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
One tip for everyone using Brave or Internet Explorer: just use who uses Internet Explorer these days. Anyhow, you just use Google Chrome while minting. It will be the best way. You won't get as many captchas.
How about you, Bob?
Yeah, I always go to my parents' house actually, because they live, very nearby, and they have this really fast internet connection. And with Cleveland, I think it actually helped me because, I was able to mint one very, great property that I really wanted to have. Maybe a noob question, but I've learned that there aren't any stupid questions. I read the announcement about the Chicago election collection reveal, and are they going to give the blockchain codes, and then we have to determine what the collections are, or do they actually already provide the collections in the app before we can mint the newer properties?
It won't be in app. It will only be in Discord just before, and maybe they will update the app just before re-releasing it on the market. But mostly just check Discord from 7 a.m. PT on, and you'll be safe and know where to mint.
Yeah, that's some good advice. I think it's tricky because I don't have that much UpX, but so Santa Clara will be the next day after the collection reveal. Ooh, do you think you are actually able to flip the properties that you bought in Chicago before Santa Clara, maybe that's a bit tricky if people save their UPEX for that. I don't know what a smart strategy is in that respect.
Yeah, as we always see prior to releases, and like this is three big things happening all at once: Chicago collections, Cleveland collections, and Santa Clara release. So you're probably likely to see a bunch of really well-priced fire sales happening. I expect that people are going to blow their wad on Chicago and Cleveland, and then scrambling for Santa Clara. We'll see what happens. But there's no shortage of UPEX sitting on the sidelines. Like I know there's several UDU members with well over 2 million just sitting there. So depending what they want to do with it, of course.
Yeah. But Cleveland, that will only be the sold out collections, right? So you're not able to mint any collections there.
Yeah, but even then you'll have people just lose their minds and buy on the secondary. So
yeah, true. Yeah,
it always happens. But yeah, as for Chicago, if I recall correctly, as Nubek said, there'll be an announcement in the Discord, and then they essentially, I think they go down for maintenance for a while, and then if there's any unsold collections, all of the minting prices on those properties get adjusted, and then they'll make an announcement that we're going live again in 5 minutes or whatever it is, and then it's just a mad scramble. But usually there's a delay. There's quite a significant delay, like at least a few hours before the actual collections are shown in the app.
Yeah, so just check Discord.
Yeah, and make sure if you see it's a neighborhood collection, just make sure you're always checking those property boundaries if you're going to go in and buy. But usually you can see, well, once we get the green light and you go into mint, of course you can click on the boosted earnings and you can see which collection that property is associated with.
Maybe one other question for Nubex or you, Ben. I mean, or anyone else. There is one potential area that I would like to become a collection, but how does it work with sold out neighborhoods or something like that? Because there are perhaps some neighborhoods with a property that was not able to mint, because I don't know, it could be an auction property or something like that. How does that work? Because does that still count as sold out, or I don't know how that works.
It counts as sold out in my opinion. I mean, if we look at Chicago downtown, there's obviously or Loop. It's called Loop there. If we look there, there's one or two landmarks, and they are still locked. So obviously, I know what you're talking about, and that's gonna be a landmark, of course. So if it's going to be a collection, it will be a collection tomorrow.
Okay. Interesting.
Oh, and just going back to why I asked if you play on mobile or web, I've noticed the last week or so, the game seems to be really bulked out. If I try to do two things at once, like if I turn the app on and I go to collect my earnings, that does its usual thing. But if I then, while that's still happening, if I go to check my messages, if I try to do those two things at once, the game just lags out, and I have to close the app and redo it and just do one at a time. Has anybody noticed that on web, or is that just a mobile thing?
That's a mobile thing. I used to play a lot on my mobile, and especially when I was treasure hunting on mobile. Well, I'm still treasure hunting on mobile because I'm quicker. But when I have it happen, it only happens on mobile. It's not a thing on web. Okay.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt because you click to collect your earnings, and that usually takes, well, for me it takes up to 4 minutes for it to finally be done. So you've got to essentially go away and do something else. It's a bit of a pain in the butt. I've been meaning to take a recording of that and send it through as some feedback, because that's not a very good user experience, especially if this is going to be promoted widely as a mobile game. Yeah, what else have we got to touch on? We've done that. You may have seen that More Cheese has got an NFT series up and running for UDU, and she started off with she's done up a UDU thank you NFT for everybody that staked on the first. I believe it covers the first round train and the original failed train. There is a link within the server to put your wax details in. Yeah, have a look through, and if you haven't already done so, get onto that, because it's pretty cool, and that's just one of many on the way. Yeah, get onto that. It's a situation where I believe something to do with her account being whitelisted. She can't just send NFTs to people unsolicited, so you actually have to give her your wax address, which is basically consenting to her to send it off to you. So yeah, get onto that. Other NFT news, Green Rabbit is all happening at the moment, as far as I believe. If you're in Green Rabbit, apparently you can now go over and crack your Selenium chest open, and probably very soon you can begin staking your NFTs and that sort of stuff. So check that out. And I did see in the Green Rabbit Discord channel that apparently Venom's doing some somersaults in his underpants or something. So he must have taken inspiration for when I said I was going to do some nude somersaults if Up Squared Land became a thing, which we're still waiting on. I guess I can speak to that a bit as well. Like, I've seen there's continuous finger pointing. Well, it's died down a bit now, but there's always finger pointing at, oh, the UDU bought Up Squared Land and now they don't let anybody use it, blah, blah, blah. As we've said, the UDU did not buy Up Squared Land, and Venom bought Up Squared Land, and his hands are completely tied as to what he can do, because he still has not been given the access to the API from Upland, as you know they talked about. They were talking about that recently, like the third-party developer program. They were talking about that was going to be something that was coming online soon. And of course, Up Squared Land was kind of significantly involved in getting that process up and running. But I don't know, there seems to be some kind of delay there. So don't blame Venom. It's got nothing to do with him. He's raring to go, but can't do much if he doesn't have the data. Other than that, I think we've covered everything. Yeah, all good. Unless anybody else has anything to say, we can wrap this one up. All good. Alrighty, thank you everybody. Catch up in the Discord.